Hi, welcome to KatieOTalks. My name's Katie, and this is where I will be talking about my hobbies. Today is going to be my very first knitting podcast. This is my eighth time trying to record today, so hopefully it all works out and I can get it posted. But I'm recording while my husband is out of the house, and so my animals think that the world is ending and they have to be with me the whole time. So if you see my dog popping in and out, that's why. But anyway, so I do want to do just a traditional knitting podcast format. I'd like to talk about my finished objects, whips, and acquisitions and plans and things like that. To start, I just want to start off with like 3 of my recently finished objects, 3 of my whips, and then some of my recent acquisitions, and then hopefully that's good. So I do have more obviously stuff going on because this is my very first knitting podcast, so obviously I'm going to have things that have built up over time, but I'm not going to go like super far back or anything, but I'm just going to try to limit the amount of things that I talk about in each episode, just so that I have things to talk about in future episodes, and also to try to keep it somewhat brief, because again, this is my first time doing a knitting podcast, and I can be very talkative, if you can't tell by the fact that my channel name is KatieOTalks. So the first thing that I want to talk about today is my ice skating hat. It is a hat that I knit. It's my 3rd colorwork project, straight knit colorwork, and I knit 2 of these, one for myself and then one for a really good friend of mine who we go ice skating every year. It's a self-drafted hat. I don't have a pattern or anything, and then the ice skate motif is from a Lovecraft's free colorwork pattern chart. It's the chart came with the ice skate and then a snowflake, and my friends, I made hers with the ice skate and the snowflake, and then I made mine with like this random, I mean it is kind of random, just like Christmassy like faded thing. But the other difference between our hats is that I also did, for mine I did a 3x1 rib, for hers I did a 2x2. I don't have hers because I already gave it to her. I gave it to her as soon as I finished it, and we're going to wear these ice skating this year. I knit this in Cascade Heritage Sock, which is a 100%, I'm sorry, not 100%. It is a superwash merino and nylon blend. I actually don't know what the percentages are, and I don't have the tags with me on hand, unfortunately. But the colorways I know are white and denim. And yeah, I got the yarn from my local yarn shop and knit these up pretty quickly. I actually knit them both, I think both of them took me a day to knit up. It is in a fingering weight, but it's in a pretty big gauge for a fingering weight. I actually knit the color work in a US 4, which is a 3.5mm needle, which is pretty big for a fingering weight yarn. I'm a pretty loose knitter, but my color work is not as loose as my normal knitting. Honestly, my color work is probably on gauge for what it's supposed to be, and my regular stockinette knitting just is very loose because I get very like relaxed with it. So anyway, that is my first finished object. Oh, you can see the jog on that side. Let me show you the pretty side. And then my second finished object is also a hat. It is a Yoda hat for a baby. So my husband's cousin had a baby and she is obsessed with Yoda. So I knit her a hat, a Yoda hat for the baby. And it is a free pattern that I got on Ravelry. It is knit in Cascade 128, which is a 100% merino, superwash merino. The 128 is because it's 128, I think, yards per 100 grams, or it might be meters, but I think it's yards per 100 grams. And yeah, it's in the green apple colorway. The only change that I made to the pattern was I did a double folded brim. And the reason why I did that is because I figured the baby could probably wear it longer if I just made the hat a little bit longer. So it's folded for now, and that's the size that like the pattern called for the 6 to 9 months. But assuming that, you know, she's gonna get bigger, and then maybe hopefully she can wear it a little bit longer, and then, you know, if she wants to keep it or give it away or whatever she wants to do after it doesn't fit anymore. But I just thought it was insanely cute, so I made that for her. I wanted to also make a robe to go with it, so I found this wrap cardigan pattern, which is also incredibly cute. It is just another free pattern that I got on Ravelry. I will say I did weave in the ends. I know there's dangles, but it's because when I block my knits, I weave in the ends, then I block it, and then I trim them. And I just haven't trimmed this yet because it's still a little bit damp because I just finished it last night and washed it, and it's been laying out this morning. So it is knit in pieces and then sewn together. It is a free pattern, like I said, and then I just knit it in this solid color instead of the two-tone the two colors that it originally called for. It's the back, the two front pieces, the sleeves, and then the ties are all knit separately, and then you just seam them all together. I spent a really long time looking for a little cardigan pattern to knit to go with the hat, but when I found this one, I looked through the project pages, and somebody else had done the same thing where they knit a little Yoda hat. They used a different pattern for the hat, but they knit a little Yoda hat, and then they knit this in a brown, and I was like, well, I guess that I picked the right pattern then. So I have not added the little snap that goes on the inside to hold it up. I have to do that, and then once it's dry and the snap's added in, I will get this in the mail and ship it off to Arizona to my husband's cousin. And I think it's going to be so cute and cozy on the baby. I think garter stitch for baby clothes is like the cutest, sweetest, coziest thing. So I'm very excited to see her wearing it. Hopefully the baby thinks it's cozy too. I'm just going to show, I knit a lot of gift knits. I don't knit a lot for myself, and I want to increase the amount of things that I'm knitting for myself and decrease the amount of gift knits that I'm making. The problem is, if I see something that I love for somebody, then I just make it. And this I wanted to make because I started knitting again, and then there was a baby, so obvious. That was an obvious thing. And also it's tiny. It would have been really fast, but once I got to the last sleeve, I procrastinated a bunch and worked on some other stuff. So yeah. But I do want to knit more for myself. So all of the whips that I'm going to show, even though I have gift knits on the needles, I'm only going to show stuff that I'm knitting for myself. And I have a few of those on the needles. So the first one that I'm going to show is, dog's on it. Not dog on it, dog's on it. Hi, baby. Okay, you don't have to lean into it. Thank you. The first thing that I have to show is in my Motion City soundtrack tote bag. But yes, so it is a self-drafted raglan. I'm knitting it in the Lion Brand Pound of Love. So while I know now that I don't love wearing acrylic or polyester knits, I did not know that when I first started knitting again, so I bought this. And I thought the color, and I still think the color is very pretty. It's the Claret Rouge Bordeaux color. It is 120 yards per pound. 16 ounces. So of worsted weight yarn. What I am doing is I'm just self-drafting a raglan. I started to knit a vest, and I hated it. I didn't think it was turning out very well. And so I changed my mind and started working on a self-drafted raglan pattern, just mainly because I wasn't gonna buy one. I already knew my gauge from that other pattern that I started to knit, and so I was like, well, I know what my gauge is, I know how to make a raglan sweater, I'm just gonna do it. So I just I figured out how to do a folded down neck. This is my first time doing it, but I'm glad I figured it out because I've used it again since then. I just did my own version of short rows, which I don't know if I did them correctly or not, but I did them. So there are short rows. So you can see that the neck is a little bit higher in the back. And then I just did a 2-stitch raglan. I cast on as many stitches as I thought I needed for the neck. I did a 1x1 rib, and then when I switched to the raglan, of course, I switched to stockinette. And then I just tried it on to see how deep the yoke needed to be, and then what the stitch count was going to be for the arms and the body. I did do some calculations and figure out what it needed to be, but then I just tried it on because I wasn't 100% sure on the yoke depth. I didn't want it to be super deep. I don't like when it is really, really low down. I want it to be more fitted, you know, not like in like super tight, but like, you know, similar to this, how this fits in my arm. So I split for sleeves. I started knitting the body. I'm going to continue knitting the body just a little bit longer. I'm going to give it a few more inches, and then I'm going to switch to knitting both of the sleeves and then finish up the sleeves, and then go back and then just probably use whatever's left to knit the body until I get all the way to the end of the skein or the ball. And yeah, just super simple, don't have a pattern, just making it work. I am knitting on 5.5 millimeter needles or US 9, and I use the Takumi Clover bamboo needles most of the time, because I have the set. I have the, you know, the interchangeable set from Takumi, or from Clover. Clover is the brand. Takumi is the style, maybe. I think. So I'm just using those interchangeable needles for that. Another project that I am working on for myself is, this is just off the project bags from Amazon. I bought it before I started going to my local yarn store, and now I know she makes project bags, so I just get all of them from her now. Okay, so I got this beautiful yarn. I had picked out the pattern before I bought the yarn. Generally, that's my MO. Generally. You will see later that it doesn't always happen that way. But it is the La Bien-Aimée Twist Nouveau 100% non-superwash merino in the color caramel or caramel, and it is beautiful. But I already had the pattern picked out when I got it. I just got the one skein from one of my local yarn stores, and I am making the Mara Shawlette. It is an all over textured shawlette. It's got ribbing, it's got garter, it's got stockinette, it's got eyelets. It is perfect. And it's got an I-cord edge on, you know, all around it. It is a free pattern, and I definitely think that you should use it. It's awesome. And when I saw this yarn, I knew I wanted to knit this pattern. When I saw this yarn, I knew that this was the yarn that I wanted to knit this pattern in. And I'm so glad that I did. I don't even know if this is warm enough. Like, it's such a warm color. It's so beautiful, and it makes me so happy. So I'm so glad that I got it. I'm just gonna say so many more times, but yes, so I'm very happy with that. I got it from one of my local yarn stores, and yes, I'm very excited. I am very excited to have that done. This is my first shawl that I'm making, and it's like a shawlette. The pattern says, like, if you want to use this much, you know, if you have this many grams, do this many repeats and blah, blah, blah. What I'm just going to do is I'm going to go until I have like just under 50 grams or just over 50 grams left. I'm going to do however many repeats that is. And then I'm going to switch to doing the decreases so that I keep looking at myself. I'm sorry for that if that's annoying to you. I'm looking at myself as I talk. I'm just gonna do however many you know, increases until I get just under 50, like over 50 grams rather, or I have just over 50 grams left. I have a kitchen scale. And then I will start the decreases just so that I can use whatever the amount of yarn is that I have, which is 100 grams, but like just so that I can use exactly that much, which I think the pattern estimates that to be 17 or 19. I cannot remember, 17 or 19 repeats for increases and then of the chart. But we'll see. I'm gonna try it out, but I think it's very beautiful and I'm very happy about it. And then the last project that I'm just gonna share with you today, as far as whips are concerned, is not even on the needles because I had to steal the needles to put on another project. Oh, this I'm using the Chiagu. These are interchangeable needles, but I just I bought the needle tips and the cables and the cable from my local yarn store. It is the US 4 3.5 millimeter needle. I actually have a couple of US 4 3.5 millimeter needles because it is a common, I use it commonly in projects. So I have that. I actually, this was knit in with another another pair that I have of the US 4 needles. So I actually have 3, I think. I have 2 of the Chiagu and then one of in the Takumi case, like the interchangeable set. I got another set of 4 millimeter needles, which are what I was using for this project, but now that needle is in another project. Anyway, this is another one that I'm making for myself. It is a grandma vest, and it is an all over lace vest. This is the upper part of the back, and then you pick up the shoulder for the shoulders, and then you join in the round under the arms and go and keep going. But it is all over lace. It's got this little like ribbed and then I-cord edge on the side, and I think it does the same thing around the neck as well with the like ribbed and the I-cord. And then yeah, it's otherwise a fairly simple construction, but the lace pattern was what I thought was very beautiful. I'm knitting this in the Cascade Heritage. No, I'm not. I'm knitting this in Cascade Eco Plus Hemp. So it is 80% Peruvian Highland wool, 20% hemp. I originally had this yarn and I knit myself some fingerless gloves, which I absolutely love. And then I went back and bought more because I think it's so beautiful. The color is beautiful. Green's my favorite color. And then also I thought it was very beautiful in this this pattern as well. I think it'll block out really nicely because of course lace, you know, blocks out better than it looks before it's blocked. But even then I still think it's pretty. And I think it's going to be quite beautiful when it's done. And then yeah, that is all the projects, the whips I'm going to show for now. I have more, but I will show them in future episodes and just kind of try to maybe mix it up a little bit and show different ones in each episode. For now, I'm going to show acquisitions and kind of talk about a couple of plans based on the acquisitions that I have. I have 2 projects planned based on the ones that I have, the acquisitions that I have. So the first one is this, which is, I got this, I ordered this through my local yarn store. My husband actually picked out the yarn and he wants me to make him a hoodie. So I'm gonna have to self-draft it because we can't quite find exactly what we're looking for. So I'm gonna probably just like look at a few patterns and see what I can come up with. But I think it'll be pretty easy. It's just gonna be like a drop shoulder hoodie. But it is the Cascade Pacific in Jet Heather. It is a very dark gray heather color, almost black. It is 60% acrylic, 40% superwash merino. It is definitely like a cool gray color. And it is 100 grams, is 213 yards or 195 meters. It's obviously machine washable because it's superwash merino and acrylic. It's very soft, which is why he picked it. He really likes the very super duper soft, like soft yarns. It's not my favorite, but it is his and it is for him, so I am going to make him exactly what he wants. It is really nice. Like, it is a nice soft yarn. And I think that it will be nice to knit with because it's got 40% merino, or it's got 40% wool in it. But I have discovered that I like to knit with woolly wools. So, but I will enjoy this. I think it's going to be very nice. I actually have not hated even knitting with this acrylic, so I'm sure it'll be fine and I'll enjoy it. And he will love the outcome, which is the most important thing, because I love him and I want him to love the things that I make him. So the next acquisition, I actually got a box, not a box, I got a bag of Knit Picks stuff. So the reason I did was because I needed to get two things, which was actually both of them were Swish bulky. The first one I got for a gift for a friend who crochets, and she saw a pattern online, and she crochets mostly with acrylic, and I think that that is fine, but I don't think she's crocheted with wool, so I wanted her to try it out. And so instead of her investing her own money in trying something, you know, woolly or new to her, I decided to go to my local yarn shop and get her. She saw a pattern that I think used Malabrigo. I'm pretty sure that's what was in the pattern. It was like a bulky, like hand-dyed looking yarn, so I think it was probably Malabrigo chunky, so that's what I got her. And I got it in colors that I knew that she would like. It's the Diana colorway, and I got two different skeins with two different like one was more on the warm side and one was more on the cool side, because there's like all different, like it's like the rainbow, but all of the skeins are different, they're not the same. So I got her two of those, and then I got her two of the Swish bulky and like a neutral, like off-white creamy beigey color. I can't remember what the colorway was, but to go with that, so I got her two skeins of the Malabrigo and then two skeins of the Swish bulky, so that she could try that out. And she was very, very excited and very happy about it. The Malabrigo is not superwash, but I wasn't 100% certain she was going to mix the two, and so I just wanted to get her a superwash. And I know that superwash merinos are softer than non-superwash, non-merino wool, so I wanted to get her something that would be compatible with the Malabrigo, and there wasn't anything locally that I could find, so I just went ahead and tried the Knit Picks Swish bulky, and I think it'll work out fine, whether she uses it together or not. But then I got her some wool wash to go, since the Malabrigo is hand wash only. Anyway, all of that was probably unnecessary information, but I also got this Swish bulky in the garnet heather color. The Swish bulky is 100% superwash merino. It is 137 yards per 100 grams, and I got this because I'm making a hat, like one of the ones that has ear flaps and stuff, for my father-in-law, and my husband picked out the color. So yes, that is for a Christmas present. And because I was getting those two, I also just wanted to try some other Knit Picks yarns that I hadn't tried before. As a matter of fact, the only other Knit Picks yarn I've ever tried is the palette, which I do love. I actually really like it. I'm using it for a colorwork project right now that I'm not allowed to talk about openly yet, but I will. It's so wonderful. But in the meantime, I ordered some just kind of a variety of yarns, and I have a couple of different reasons for that. So I first got the Wool of the Andes worsted. So I have some Wool of the Andes roving. So I haven't had their yarn before, but I do have their roving because of I'm learning how to spin on a drop spindle. So I got the coal color and the crane heather color in the worsted weight because the I am finding that the yarn that I've spun recently is about a worsted weight. So if I want to knit that up with something, a worsted weight neutral is probably the way to go. So I got 2 balls each of the crane heather in the worsted and the coal in the Wool of the Andes worsted. These are 100% Peruvian Highland wool, non-superwash. And it is 110 yards per 50 grams of that yarn. So I got those because I just got 2 balls of each in the neutral color. They were on sale. They had like a big sale going on, and I thought that, like I said, the neutral colors will go with my hand spun. I also want to try to spin some finer wools, and by finer I just mean sport weight. So I got 2 balls each of the oyster heather and coal, again in the sport weight, which is 137 yards per 50 grams. It's the same Wool of the Andes 100% non-superwash Highland Peruvian wool. And so I got that to try to also use with hand spun. But also I wanted to test it out because I had not used the Wool of the Andes yet in the yarn. I had only used the roving, which I do like a lot to spin with. As far as learning to spin, it's been great. It's super easy to spin with compared to the one other type that I've used to spin with, which was merino. And then I also got the Stroll Tweed, which is obviously a fingering weight because it is the Stroll sock yarn. It is in the Lavender Field Heather colorway, and it is 231 yards per 50 grams. It is 65% superwash, fine superwash merino wool, 25% nylon, 10% Donegal tweed. And this is, obviously I'm just going to use it in socks. I have like lots of sock yarns, so I'll probably I don't know exactly what type of sock I'll make yet, but I'm sure I'll do like a contrast something or color work, I don't know. But it was very pretty. So I got this to try out, and it is insanely soft. It is very, very, very soft. It looks a little bit lighter than other socks yarns that I've used, like finer than other sock yarns that I've used, but I'll see. I haven't compared it yet to other ones, but it does look like it is a little bit like finer, but it is very soft, and I'm excited to knit with that. And then I also wanted to try the City Tweed DK, and I just got 1 ball each of the Stroll Tweed and the DK, the City Tweed DK. It is in the Plum Wine colorway. It's 123 yards per 50 grams. And it is 55% merino wool, 25% superfine alpaca, and 20% Donegal tweed. And it is very pretty. The neps are like black and white and like tan color. And it's like, again, the plum wine is a perfect description for the colorway. I don't know how accurate the color is showing up on camera. It is natural light, but it's dark because it's getting late, and I tried recording this so many times earlier, but it's just it's been a tough trial to get here. So but yes, so that's the final thing that I'm going to talk about with regards to acquisitions. So like I said, I do plan to knit a hat for my father-in-law. Things that I haven't cast on yet, but I plan to knit are a hat for my father-in-law, hoodie for my husband, more socks for my husband. I have other like sock yarns, sock plans, pair of socks for another friend. I say another friend. I have a pair of socks on the needles for a friend, and then I'm knitting another pair of socks for another friend. But yeah, and then I have some other stuff planned for myself. But yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to go over today. Hopefully you've enjoyed sitting and chatting with me today, listening to me talk about my upcoming plans, and hopefully the lighting hasn't been bad enough that it's not worth watching. Hopefully the audio is fine. This is my first podcast. I'm just recording this on my phone. I tried with my camera, but the battery just does not last long enough. I probably need to get new battery for it. And also I don't have like I need to stop looking in the viewfinder because I'm looking at myself in the camera, but I don't have a viewfinder for my camera, so it's sometimes a little bit hard to tell. Like, it's hard to navigate making sure that I'm looking in the right place, and like I have to take pictures of, it's a whole thing. But anyway, I do hope you've enjoyed hanging out with me today, and I hope that you come back, like, subscribe, all that like stuff, comment if you have questions, concerns, or suggestions, or all that kind of stuff. Let me know, and I do hope that you'll be back, and yeah, I'll have lots more to talk about next time, I'm sure, because I still have lots that I haven't talked about today. So thanks for sitting with me. I'm just gonna end it now because if I don't, I'm gonna keep talking. Bye.